Welcome, everyone, to episode number 118 of Talkin Kentucky. My name is Coleman Scott. His name is Caden Holmes. It's our first show of 2025. I'm here on a beautiful night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as I'm back down south now from my holiday travels in Kentucky. Caden is snowed in Bowling Green. In fact, he may never leave his house again after tonight because we're supposed to get like 8 more inches of snow tonight, Caden. So I think that makes like 16 plus inches of snow in that area in the past 5 days. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't lose power this past weekend. It wasn't as bad here, I think, as they were saying. It looked like Josh was sending us those videos in chat. It looked like Eastern Kentucky was probably got the worst end of it.
Yeah, I think like Danville and all those sort of areas got the most ice, which that's the worst because when you get a bunch of ice is when you get power outages and stuff like that.
Oh, I guess Eastern Kentucky got all the snow. It looked like a blizzard over there.
I would much rather have the snow, but Frankfort and Lexington maybe got the worst combination of it because we got a bunch of snow. We got like 5 inches of snow, and then we got a half an inch of ice on top of that, and we got more snow on top of that. So when you go try to shovel that snow, it's like impossible because it's like trying to shovel just a ice.
Trying to shovel a brick
or something like that. Yeah, it's that's what we did the other night against Georgia. We tried to shovel some bricks. Madeline Hodges is in here. She says we had 11 inches in northern Kentucky and 5 more coming tomorrow. I can't remember a time that it snowed this much in Kentucky, Caden. I think down south, people always ask me, does it snow in Kentucky? And I say, well, yeah, sometimes, it snows a little bit here and there, but not this much.
People down south, they think Kentucky's like Antarctica. They're like, you're from Kentucky? Like, how cold's it get up there? So that's what they always ask. Yeah. And you're thinking, listen to my voice. Do I sound like a Yankee to you?
Yeah. Everybody always thinks I'm from Texas because I have a Southern accent. I'm like, no, I'm from Kentucky. They're like,
there's a big difference. Kentucky and Texas accents are huge difference.
Yeah. And even, we talked about this before in Kentucky, there's a difference in like, there's really 3 different distinct accents. There's Western Kentucky, which is like what you've got. There's Central Kentucky, which is like a little twang, which is what I've got. And then there's Eastern Kentucky, which no offense, just flat out redneck. But you gotta
you're gonna offend Josh.
You gotta embrace it. No, you gotta wear your
stop being a supporter.
You gotta wear your redneck with pride. I wish I had that kind of accent. Man, like when you hear somebody that was like born and raised in Eastern Kentucky, like they have that thick, like redneck accent, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be our new slogan. We need to make a shirt that says "Talkin Kentucky." Wear your redneck with pride.
Well, we should, be proud of who you self. We should know. Or,
wait, what?
That's a KSR reference. Did you not get that?
Oh, I thought that was about to be another Marcus Teague reference or something.
No, that is something Marcus Teague would say, though. That is some Marcus Teague grammar there. to be fair. No, that's a Ryan Lemond-ism, actually, not Marcus Teague. But
what did Marcus Teague most famously say? We is Kentucky.
We is Kentucky, and we don't take no stuff from nobody. Don't take no blank from nobody.
Yeah, you're gonna have to mark our episode as explicit again if you say that.
Yeah, so I'll keep that to myself. But
which I think most of our episodes we had to mark explicit because of Clyde.
Yeah, most of them. But we don't have many that are marked explicit, but usually it's because of Brad Harvey or Clyde Hare. I think that makes up most of them. Or Josh occasionally, not very often. Not very
convicted
often.
Over here saying we're Christians and we got to mark our videos as explicit sometimes.
Yeah, and Madeline says I still have my Tennessee accent. And Madeline, I didn't know you had Tennessee roots in you. That we're gonna have.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk that out of you here. Jeremy says just listen to Richie Farmer talk sometime. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Jeremy. Like that kind of Eastern Kentucky accent. Like Jeff Shepard. Even like I am jealous.
Matt Jones from over there.
Matt Jones, but I feel like Matt doesn't have it quite as much. It's not like a true Eastern Kentucky accent. I don't think. Like Matt's got like a twang. Matt's voice is more like mine. I think it's got that twang, but it's not like
it's almost like Drew Burke.
The question is, what is Western Kentucky? Like, how would you classify that? Because it's not really twang. It's not really redneck. Well, it's definitely not redneck.
It's just like a draw.
It's a draw. That's a good way to put it. Western Kentucky is a draw, and so we got draw, redneck, and twang. Right? Those are the three. So
yeah, I think about Brother Bobby when I think about Western Kentucky.
Oh, that's
like the epitome.
That's a great example. Does Brother Bobby?
Yeah, I'm gonna send him this clip and tell him we talked about him on our podcast. He'll get a kick out of that.
You should. Does Brother Bobby even know that I know who he is? I don't think he does. Well, I mean, I've
but you've watched him.
I've listened to a lot of his sermons, so shout out Brother Bobby. He's reaching far and he's reaching beyond state lines, Caden.
Yeah, he doesn't. He probably didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's true. Shout out Plum Springs. Madeline says, born and raised in Nashville, graduated from UT. Oh, I'm even more sorry about that. But good, Caden, that she figured out who was on the right side of the fence here, with keeping your Kentucky fandom, even though you went to UT. I mean, that's to be commended for sure.
Yeah, well, I think when I moved to Texas, my boss said something like, congratulations, you finally made it. So... like you finally made it home kind of thing. So that's what we can say about Madeline.
Yes. Congratulations, Madeline. You finally made it home. Well, Caden, I got in late last night from the Atlanta airport, which, by the way, I saw a certain offensive line coach that was on my flight from Lexington to Atlanta. Not sure if he's recruiting for Kentucky or for Alabama, but he did have on UK stuff, so I think that was a good sign. But it nevertheless got home late last night, so I had to do the grocery run today because, speaking of Matt Jones, I am not Matt Jones. I don't leave stuff rotting in my fridge over the holidays, so it had an empty pantry, had to go out and get some stuff. And also, unlike Matt Jones, I cooked tonight, Caden. Cooked dinner. Cooked some.
What did you have?
Chicken cutlets. Had
chicken
some nice
cutlets.
Chicken cut. Yeah, I bread them with some panko breadcrumbs and Parmesan and Italian seasonings and stuff, and then had some green beans with it. So yeah, that's I don't think Matt Jones could do that, Caden. I mean, I don't toot my own horn, but.
I don't go that fancy. I mean, I'm over here I'm not saying I am a bodybuilder by any means, but I'm over here with the bodybuilding meals like rice or potatoes and then whatever meat.
Hey, you need to get on that Cody diet. You need to get on that 2 cups of oatmeal a day diet. That's what you need.
Oh, I'm doing pretty close to 1 cup, and trust me, that's hard enough.
I know. I usually when I make oatmeal, I usually make about 1 cup, and I can barely finish it. So I can't imagine doubling that. I mean,
and then trying to do a cup of rice, it's tough, but you got to get your protein in if you're working out.
You're on the Damian Collins diet, Caden. You're on that 10,000.
How many? Oh my gosh, 10,000. I swear, even if I try to do 3,000, I'll throw up.
Yeah, I definitely cannot do 10,000. I couldn't even come close to 10,000. And how did Damian do that and not gain any weight either is the thing.
Have you seen what those world's strongest men do?
I haven't, but I can't
They'll
imagine
go to Chick-fil-A and spend like $300 just for themselves kind of thing.
Well, Michael Phelps, when he was, still in his prime, he was eating like 20,000 calories a day or something like that. I mean, but I can imagine because swimming sucks, Caden. I don't know if you've ever, you think running is hard on, from a cardio standpoint. Try swimming. Swimming is not easy.
Yeah, he's doing 20,000 or whatever, and he's burning half of those every day.
Jeremy says, here's the main difference in Western Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. If you meet a fellow guy on a back road in a truck and they wave or nod at you, you're in Western Kentucky. If they stare and give you the who the hell are you look, you're in Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, I think that's very true.
Jeremy, where are you from? He's seeming a little Western Kentucky biased here.
I feel like Jeremy is – I feel like he's from the Bowling Green area, isn't he? Because when somebody left a note on your car – yeah, when somebody left a note on your car, I feel like which we got to talk about other things that were left on Caden's car too, by the way, here shortly. Nebo, Kentucky. Caden, do you know where that is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty close to my hometown, Massville. I remember this now.
He talked about the airport next to the park. Remember? And you're like, how do you know that there's an airport next to that park?
Yeah, they had my longitude, latitude figured out when I got this note on my car.
They really did. But no, we'll get into that later for sure. But Caden, I went to the grocery, and I don't know if it's because of the snow or whatever, but nobody has any eggs. Went to 3 grocery stores, nobody had any eggs except
That's a
Rouse's.
must.
Oh no, yeah, Trader Joe's had no eggs.
That's
I mean,
like
you couldn't
Subway
even.
not having bread.
I know. I was like, what do you mean? Like, did they move their eggs? And they're like, no, we don't have any eggs. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any eggs? But I finally, Rouse's, which is this local grocery store down here, did have some eggs, Caden, but they were those fancy, cage-free, organic, like high in the hog eggs.
Hug a tree egg.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and Caden, these are the only eggs that they had. Well, they did have some really, really cheap eggs that were probably like 3D printed by Elon Musk or something like that, but I wasn't going to buy those. So I did buy this dozen that was $8.
Three.
Yeah, 3D.
Did you just pull that out of your butt?
Musk. I did, yeah, because that's what they look like.
I didn't know if this was like a rumor, like we're about to start getting 3D printed food or something. Wouldn't surprise me at this point.
But in any case,
continue.
Did not go with the 3D printed eggs by Elon Musk. I got the $8 organic eggs. Caden, have you ever paid $8 for a dozen eggs? I mean, I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I needed eggs tonight, and I eat eggs on a regular basis. So I was gonna get eggs. They said that they might, not for sure, but they might get some in next week. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I know that there's a winter weather and everything, but you gotta have eggs.
AFIO says they're low due to the bird flu.
Oh, is that what it is? Does the bird flu come from chickens?
Is this eggs? Like COVID kind of thing?
Are
we having an outbreak?
Yeah, it might be another pandemic here. Claude says Elon Musk never made no eggs. Glad. Okay, Clyde, I'm glad that you know that Elon has never made no eggs. I didn't think that he did, but just saying. Okay, bird flu eggs have been recalled. Okay, well, I bought the super organic one, so hopefully my $8 eggs won't give me bird flu, Caden.
Madeline says if he did, they would catch fire. Like, what is this? Flammable eggs?
Oh, is she talking about if Elon 3D printed? She's probably talking about if Elon 3D printed some eggs, is what I'm saying. I don't think, that would be a good way to know if they had bird flu or not. Were you thinking that if the eggs had bird flu, then they'll catch on fire? Like,
I don't know what I was thinking.
Light a match and see if they catch on fire.
Anyway, it's like $8 for eggs. Yeah, that's not okay unless you're getting like 24 eggs or something. But something tells me you got 12 eggs for $8. You got ripped off.
I sure did. It's like Ticketmaster. Lisa Marie Scott says, which is AKA my mom, says bird flu is bad news. It's contamination. Someone in Baton Rouge just died 2 days ago. Yeah, did you know that, Caden? Somebody in Baton Rouge died from bird flu a couple days ago. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't have had eggs tonight, but in any case, I paid $8 for this dozen eggs. So hopefully all is good there. I feel fine. So hopefully everything will be okay there.
Well, Meyer does have eggs, and I've got Meyer eggs in my fridge. So hopefully I'll be okay because I eat eggs every day.
I think so. Yeah. I think
Meyer won our bracket, or they won our tier list.
Tier list. Yes.
I don't think I think their eggs are probably good.
I would hope so. Yeah, you don't get them at Aldi though. You don't want to go to Aldi.
Oh no, that's asking for the bird flu.
You're asking for bird flu at that point. But the other thing at grocery stores in Louisiana, Kane, as soon as Epiphany ends, so as soon as it is January 7th, it's Mardi Gras in Louisiana. I don't know if you knew this, Kane, but it's a federal law that you like have to stay. You have to stay blackout drunk from January 7th all the way till Ash Wednesday in Louisiana. I mean, it's crazy. You walk in the grocery store and it's king cakes, it's the beads, it's everything. Just everybody eats sugar and drinks for like a month and a half here. And I got to tell you, I don't really understand it. I mean, I know it's a cultural thing, but I feel like Mardi Gras is just a big excuse to get drunk and
kind of
eat
like when a
sugar.
hurricane comes in too. It's like an excuse to just drink.
Yeah,
I think
that's
people
really
use
true.
that for anything.
That's really true. My first hurricane down here, I was genuinely asking people, like, what do I need for supplies? Like, should I get water? Should I get, like, canned goods and things like that? And they're like, well, go to the liquor store first, because that would be the first thing to go. And they were, they weren't even joking. Like, they were
I
dead
remember in
serious.
Houston. Yeah, in Houston, that's where everyone would go.
Clyde's talking about Ebola in the comments now, so we're really just putting off talking about the Georgia loss at this point.
Jeremy's talking about the Menards and Bowling Green. Yes, Jeremy. He says, "Have you been to the Menards and Bowling Green? It's like a Lowe's on steroids." Yes, Jeremy. I live really close to that Menards, and I've been in there several times. I think it's a great place. Menards. You like Menards? Coleman?
I've always wanted to go to a Menards. I've never been, but I've passed a lot of them. Should I check out Menards? I'm a big Lowe's guy. I like Lowe's.
Dude, they're like the Buc-ee's version of Lowe's. I'm not even kidding.
That's
They're
high
huge.
praise right there. I just followed Buc-ee's on Instagram a couple days ago, which I don't know why I wasn't doing that yet. You know what? I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of off topic, not really. I feel like there needs to be a Buc-ee's bowl. I mean, we've got a Pop-Tarts bowl, which was wildly successful. I don't think people are talking about it enough. I mean, you go Google Pop-Tarts bowl or get on Twitter and look up Pop-Tarts bowl. The memes, the clips from it, I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. They took a mascot of a Pop-Tart and jumped down into a giant toaster, and then a real Pop-Tart came out of the toaster, and the team started eating it. I mean, it was awesome. But I feel like there needs to be a Buc-ee's bowl. I know they don't really need the marketing. Pop-Tarts probably did. I can't remember the last time I bought Pop-Tarts, but now I want to eat Pop-Tarts all the time because the Pop-Tarts bowl. But there needs to be a Buc-ee's bowl. I feel like that would be, I mean, it could be in Texas. I feel like that would be the greatest
it'd have to
thing
be
ever.
In Texas.
What city would it be in? It could probably not Austin, right? Because Austin's
No,
like the
not
least
Austin.
Texas
Not
city.
Probably Dallas. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth,
Or San Antonio. I don't know. Probably Dallas.
Or you could have it somewhere random. You could have it in like Lubbock or
Tyler,
something like that.
Like Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, you could have it at Tarleton State, in the land of Billy Gillespie and Brian Walker. There, that would be. You
can have it in Baytown, where the Baytown Symphony is located.
Yep, you could have it there. That would be perfect. I thought Baytown Symphony might sponsor it. That would be great, I think. But in any case, I guess we should talk about some Kentucky basketball now. And we've got some good news and some bad news to talk about since the last time that we've been on. So we'll start with the good news. We're going to go in chronological order here. Caden and I went to the Florida game, which ended up being a great game to go to. We got tickets that were cheap for the game. They were upper arena, and they were what, Caden, 200 something a piece, something like that, I think. And it looked like
it's still outrageous.
It's still outrageous. But it looked like we were on the end of the row, which we were on the end of the row. And I was like, oh, that's going to be great, because you can get in and out easy. I can't believe there's a ticket price for this low on the edge, like, because you hate climbing over people, trying to get out to do whatever. Even at halftime, it's hard to do. Well, they were on the edge, but they were also up against a solid concrete wall. So we had to climb over like half of Rupp Arena to get to our seats.
Yeah, I leaned over at you and I said, well, I hope you don't have to use a bathroom until halftime, Coleman.
Yeah, and I did, but I held it. So yeah, that was something, but we made it work, and we didn't start off too well, Caden. I feel like slow starts are a thing for this team. We kind of started off cold, didn't seem very energetic, but then we start picking it up. We go on these runs, and actually, Caden, I don't know if you've heard this, but we went on these things called kill runs. This is
Is that Pope's new
it's not
thing,
Pope.
kill runs?
It's not Pope. It's just like in general, like basketball stats guys talk about this. So a kill run is when you go on a 10-0 run or more.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard about this.
We went on 3 of those. We went on 2 10-0 runs and 1 16-0 run. And so teams that have gone on 3 or more kill runs in a game are like 289 and 0. So we did the thing, right? We went on kill runs and by the stats equated to us winning the game, which was great. I mean, I'm glad that we were able to play well enough to go on those scoring streaks. But on the other side of things, like if we didn't shoot that well, if we even shot a little more poorly, we would have lost that game, right? So I don't know whether to be encouraged or not, especially after the Georgia game, which we'll get into in just a second. I mean, we did score 106 points against one of the best half-court defenses in college basketball, but they also scored 100 on us. So, Caden, go just pretend like you didn't even know about the Georgia game yet. Let's go back to, post-game from that Florida game. Were you feeling more or less or about the same level of optimism about the team after that game?
I mean, it was cool that we beat the number 6 team and all, but kind of indifference because like we did those massive runs, but honestly, I felt like we did not play well for most of that game. We just went off for 10 to 20 points at a time, and that's how we won. Kobe Brea was killing it. Like he was doing step backs, hitting threes in people's faces, and that helped a lot. And then we had some fast break points. And I think that also added to those major runs. But I think we could have blown them out if we played consistently well and physical the whole game. Rebounding was not great, right? If I remember correctly.
No, they out rebounded us for sure. I mean, I think they got something crazy, like they got like 40 rebounds or something like that. I don't know how many of those are offensive rebounds, but they definitely out rebounded us. But the physicality thing is the big thing, right? So that gets us into the Georgia game. And the refs were bad. Don't get me wrong. I initially, I'm not one to put all the blame on the refs very often, but right after the game, I really did think the refs were the sole reason that we lost. And
that Florida game, by the way, rebounds were 38-30. That's pretty amazing. We won. We got beat by 8 on rebounds.
Yeah, that is. It doesn't surprise me we got beat by 8 on rebounds, but
we hit 2 more threes. It's a big deal difference.
But going to this Georgia game, we just got out physicaled. Yes, the refs seemed a little one-sided and there were some bad calls, but I think it ultimately comes down to the morph. And Jack Givens even said this on the broadcast with Tom Leach. If you were the more physical team, you're going to get the calls. If you are the aggressor, you're going to get the calls from the refs. And we just shied away from all contact, so we never got to the line, Caden. I believe we were 8 of 9 for free throws in that game, and then Georgia was something like 24 of 33 from the free throw line. And on the surface, you can look at that and say, well, they just weren't giving us any calls. But I think part of the reason we weren't getting any calls is because we just weren't being aggressive in taking it to the basket and drawing contact, which I just think we need to do.
We had a few more than that. According to this box score, we were 15 of 19, but they were 29 of 38. So basically twice as many.
Oh, okay. It must have been because that second half took like 2 hours.
Yeah, so that's whenever it happened. At one point, you're right. It was like 8 of 9 with not too much time left.
That must have been like all toward kind of the end of the second half there for sure. But
in Sumpto, that's how do you know how to pronounce that? Sumpto Cyril.
Yeah, he was once
he was Kentucky. A commit for us, right?
Yeah. Not only was he
like completely posterized us. I'm like, well,
yeah.
Missed
We
out
did.
on him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he's a good athlete, but like, I just feel like it's an easy fix. Like, if our guys just man up and like aren't afraid of contact, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, there's
But
a lot of fading away instead of
yeah,
trying to get contact.
and that's why we didn't go to the line as much, for sure. But so Ken, like overall, before we dig into some of these comments here, especially I see a Theo, not a Thiero. That's he plays for Arkansas. A Theo. What is what's your takeaway about the team right now? Like, are you concerned yet about these games that we're dropping? Like, do you think it's going to be a long-term problem for us, or do you think it's just like random duds that we're throwing up? Because it is a little weird that we've beaten Duke and Gonzaga and Florida, but then we lose to like Clemson and Georgia. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it's also a common denominator that we're going to. It's these games are on the road or at Madison Square Garden, and these teams just play completely out of their mind. I wouldn't say it's duds. I think it's a combination of us. They're just ready for the big game with Kentucky, and then they literally beat us down, and then awful officiating on top of that does not help. So we have to get more physical when we start getting punched in the face like that.
Yeah, so I mean, the problem is that a lot of games in the SEC are going to be like that.
Yep.
And
it's not going to get easier.
It's not going to get any easier. This weekend against Mississippi State, I mean, that's going to be a really tough and physical game, and they're due one. I mean, they haven't beaten us in a long time. I mean, I think they only beat Cal maybe once in the SEC tournament that one time. I don't think they've beaten us in the regular season in like 15 years.
And it's another road game. It's not gonna be easy. But to be fair, Georgia is not a bad team either. They're what, 13-2? Like, the whole SEC is good. So it's not like I'm not trying to dog as the same we're a bad basketball team, but it is a little worrisome that we get 3 top 10 wins and then lose to some unranks when we have a whole conference schedule left, and they're better than some of those teams we lost to.
Well, you know who's not better than I thought they would be is Arkansas.
I do know. I do know what you're going to
say. Which, by the way, there were like 10 people at their game the other night. Josh Hart says, look, guys, in the day, we are a lot better with Pope as head coach and John Calipari. How's he doing in Arkansas? They ain't won a game yet in the SEC. They have not. They just lost at home to Ole Miss. And then before that, they lost to Tennessee, who I know is good. But Arkansas scored less points in the entire game against Tennessee than we scored in each half against Florida, if that tells you anything. I mean, they only scored 52 against Tennessee. You know, we scored 106 against Florida. So it's almost to the point with Cal where like it's already, I knew it wasn't going to work there, but I think it's going south maybe further than further and faster too than I thought, Caden. What do you think? Did you expect it to be this much of a train wreck? Like, we kind of knew that we knew he wasn't going to change, but I kind of thought he'd have at least a little bit more success than he's having so far.
Yeah, I kind of expected some of these games he's dropped. Like, obviously, I didn't think he'd beat Tennessee, but like the beginning of the season, I didn't think he'd lose to like Illinois or maybe even Baylor. I don't know. I think it's going worse than I expected. Like, I thought I'm pretty confident we'll beat him, especially since it's at Rupp.
Yeah, I mean, being at Rupp really helps. I mean, that crowd's going to be crazy. It's also at 9 p.m., which we know how Cal feels about 9 p.m. tip-offs, so that's not going to be good. But yeah, I mean, do you think they make the tournament? I mean, that's the big question.
Dude, I don't know. They're already 11-4, and
Well, they beat Michigan, right? And I think that's like the John Calipari special is like they pull off and steal some games that they probably shouldn't, but then they lose and throw up a lot of clunkers. So
I'm thinking there'll be a bubble team, honestly.
I mean, the SEC is so tough this year that I don't know that they'll play well enough in conference play to actually make. I mean, they're definitely going to be playing on Wednesday at the SEC tournament. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. They're not. They're going to play on Wednesday of the SEC tournament. They're not going to get in the bye. But
I'm trying to find the SEC standings as it is.
But I don't think they can be successful enough in conference to make the tournament. I really don't. I really don't think they will. But the other thing that we have to ask is how long is he actually going to be there? We thought that initially, we talked about this right when he left. He'll probably make a Final Four. He'll probably have a little bit. Don't know if he'll win a national title, but he'll probably have a little bit of success at Arkansas. But now it's looking like that might not even be the case, because when you look at recruiting, I mean, we've beaten them out for a lot of guys in recruiting, and so have some other teams. Even with all this Tyson chicken nugget money, he's not getting these recruits. So, and even if he did, it wouldn't change, because we've seen that firsthand, how he gets talent and nothing comes of it. But he's not even getting the recruits. So I don't see him being there more than 2 or 3 years. Okay, and he might just hang it up after that. What do you think?
I'd give it. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I'd give it about 2.
Yeah, this has been a big debate.
His teams get better. A lot of times his teams do get better as the season goes on. I gotta give him credit, but they still don't make runs in the tournament.
They do, but the other thing that we have to as Kentucky fans that we've been talking about is, do you feel like bad for him at all after all the good years at Kentucky, like seeing his career kind of end this way? If this is how it ends, do you feel bad for him at all?
I wish he would have just retired from Kentucky. Honestly, I do kind of feel bad for him because he gave us some good years. I'm not going to sit here and bash the guy because he gave us some good years, and I'm sure it's got to be hard. I'm sure it was hard leaving Kentucky for Arkansas, and I'm sure it's hard right now trying to get adjusted and winning some of these games.
Do you think that if he just like last year, if he just decided to call it quits and he did the whole same thing of it's time for a new voice in this program and stuff like that, and just stepped aside, like he would be much more respected? Better. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I mean, there's people out there that hate him now. I don't think the whole fan base does, but there's people that just like despise him now, like retro Patino levels. But
and people love Patino now.
Which is
completely
crazy.
Shifted.
Yeah, complete 180 there. But I don't think there would have been people that would have, had this disdain for him that they do now if he had just stepped aside. I think a lot of people probably would have respected him if he just stepped aside.
Agreed.
But Clyde here in the comments says Cal is overpaid as hell. Well, they all are, to be fair.
They all are.
But yes, that's for sure. Jeremy says when Cal lost 3 in a row at Rupp, which no coach at UK had ever managed to do, I was officially done with that dude. Heck, even Gillespie never lost 3 in a row at Rupp Arena. And the other thing, Jeremy, is that team was Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, 2 of the best 3-point shooters, statistically 2 of the best 3-point shooters in the history of this school. And that team should have made
really
the Final
last
Four.
Year?
That was
we
last
lost
year.
3 at Rupp.
Yeah, because remember we lost Gonzaga was one of them, and UNC Wilmington I think was one of those 3 too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Maybe that wasn't one of the 3. Because maybe was that when Gonzaga was like in the middle of conference play. It was kind of weird. Mm-hmm. You remember that? Okay, maybe it was later in the season. But yeah, in any case, losing 3 in a row, period. is just really, really bad. So why that up there? What happened?
Beats
Anyway,
me.
It's Elon Musk.
I thought you were about to play some of our voice messages from.
I don't think we want to play those on the show necessarily. Yeah, Josh Hart. Who would have thought that we would see this comment on here from Josh Hart this time last year? We love Ricky P with the blue and white heart there. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Dude, I'm on the left now. This is messing with me.
We can switch it back. I think. Yeah, look at that. Fancy.
Feels
By the
better.
way, before the show, Ken, I wanted to go down. Apparently, StreamYard has these new fonts now that you can play around with. Besides the
is that included
font.
with the like incredibly overpriced package?
Well, I thought it would be, but you have to have the next package up to get the fonts.
They got a next package up.
They've got a next one up from this one. Yeah, this is not even the top tier package.
Dude, we got to take out our retirement savings for this.
Yeah, I know. We got to go to my bank for a loan. But Madeline, Josh Hart says, Madeline, I agree with Caden. He should have just retired. He doesn't have it anymore. Yep. Josh Hart also says, wait, what just happened? I don't know, Josh. But we're back now. Well, guys, we do want to go ahead and take a call or two. And then we'll talk about Kentucky and Mississippi State this weekend. And then, Caden, I have a list of the most obscure team each SEC basketball program has ever played, which I think is pretty entertaining that I wanted to share on here as well. But, yeah, for now, we'll go ahead and take some calls. 502-234-1504. Tell us your level of panic about the team and so on and so on. You're on with Talking Kentucky. Who's this?
It's Claude.
Hey, Claude. How you feeling after this super high win and super low loss?
Oh, honestly, that's Kentucky basketball for you. Honestly, you get the highs of the highest, and you get the lowest of the lows. I mean, that's just how it goes. Being a fan of this great university, and to be honest, the Florida win was great. Honestly, when we went on that 16-0 run, that's literally what won us the game. Because I feel like if we didn't go on that 16-0 run, I feel like we would have lost. But the fact of the matter that we did go on that run helped us win that game, and Florida was never able to fully recover right after we went on that run. I mean, they made some shots and stuff, but they was never able to grab the lead because each time when they would cut it to like one or two, we would come back down and respond with another basket, which made it more difficult for Florida to come back and try to win the game. It was a great overall game. I'm glad you guys win because you saw probably one of the best college basketball games of the year. I mean, that was such an incredible game. I'm glad you guys got to go there and witness it, and I'm glad I'm glad you guys had fun, and I'm glad you guys got to come before all the snow came in.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it was a great game. And yeah, I'm glad we barely beat the snow as well. It was awesome to get to go to. And I honestly felt even better about it after watching Florida completely destroy Tennessee. I mean, because they beat Tennessee by 30. I know it was at home, but you beat the number one team in the country by 30. Florida is especially just good as a defensive team, especially in the half court. And to see us put up 106 on them was very encouraging to me. So, I don't know. How are you feeling about the team moving forward? Are you worried after the Georgia loss, or are you just kind of writing it off as a weird game?
Well, before I say something about that, no, never mind. I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, I know Matt Jones and them are beating, and I'll say, no, it wasn't the refs. Yes, it was the refs that literally cost us that whole game. But then again, we also didn't do well. Heck, we couldn't do enough to try to win the game because every time we try to do something on defense, it was a foul, and like we couldn't even breathe on Georgia without committing a foul. And like, so you mean to tell me a Georgia player can throw Andrew Carter down on the ground, look at him while he's really on the ground, and that's not a foul? But Amari Williams goes up with his hands while the Georgia player's trying to make a float or whatever, and they call that a foul when Amari Williams didn't even touch the dude. So,
I think that absolutely. So I think that absolutely contributed to it, for sure. But Clyde, thanks for calling in as always, man. We'll let you go, but do you have a prediction for Saturday before we let you go?
I was hoping you would ask me for my prediction because I do have a prediction. I think we win. We normally do respond after these kind of losses. It's just how it goes. Like how we responded against Gonzaga after the Clemson loss. I think, Mississippi State's a very good team. They're a very, very good team. Much respect to them. They have a good thing going this year. They're going to be very tough in this conference. But and they got some difficult games coming up as well. They got Auburn and Tennessee coming up right after our game. So they got some difficult games coming up.
It's a tough stretch,
but I think we'll win. I think we'll win by 8, 88-80. I don't think it's going to be in the hundreds.
88-80.
But if we get to 71 first, we'll win the game because it's the rule of 71.
I like that prediction. I like that prediction. Yep. That's good. Well, thanks very much, Clyde. We appreciate you calling in, man.
All righty. You take care.
Go Cats. Rule 71, Kay, and that doesn't fail very often. I mean, that's
no.
Clyde said, I think we'll win. I think if we get to 71 first, we'll win because of the rule 71.
Yeah, that's pretty valid statement prediction there. Hey, we got the loyal BBN in here. Michael Spencer.
Heck yeah. What's
speaking of a good show, that's a good show.
Coleman. Yeah, it is.
That's a real good show.
That's a real good show. Yeah, welcome in to Michael Spencer. A Theo's back in here. He says 35 foul shots for Florida, 38 foul shots for Georgia. We got to do something to adjust there. Amari's foul underneath was my example of trying to adjust and be more physical in mid-game. Doesn't work out well. Yeah, I mean, when we didn't initiate the game as being physical and then try to become physical later, it just, I don't know, Georgia was the aggressor and they kind of controlled the whistle from the tip. And I think, we have to change that from moment one, right? Lil BBN fan says, wish I had my headphones. You think he's listening to us on mute, Caden? He might be. Maybe
he's probably just pay attention to the comments,
subtitles or something going on there. But well, the 502-234-1504.
Subtitles probably couldn't recognize my draw.
Yeah, or my twang. Yeah. But I think Josh tried to call in during Clyde's call. So Josh, you want to give us a call back? We'll take it. Yeah, well, so let's go ahead and get into some of while we're maybe waiting on a Josh call here. Let's get into some of these most obscure teams each SEC basketball team has ever played. This is one of those things that you just kind of see on Twitter, or I don't think this was on Barstool, but it was something like that. But I guess we'll get to that after this call because Josh Hart is calling in. You're on with Talkin Kentucky. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, guys? How are you tonight?
We're doing well, man. We had fun at the Florida game. Thought we were gonna breeze by Georgia and be able to come on here and celebrate a little bit, but we're kind of back to square one here. So
we'll be all right.
Yeah, what's your takeaways, man, from those two events, the big win and big loss?
Well, I think we only lost because we got so many horrible calls, and I'll just be all the way honest with you. We can't play 8 on 5.
Right.
That was one of the most worst officiated games I've ever seen since I've watched UK basketball since 1992.
I mean, it was up there.
It was not. I mean, for me personally, it was the worst officiated game I've ever seen since being a Kentucky man.
Those
That was
those are strong words. I mean, but I mean, you're right. Like in the moment, I think I've kind of calmed down since then. But in the moment when I was watching the game, I think the last time that I had seen a game officiated that badly was when we played North Carolina in the Elite Eight that one time.
Kentucky was 11 of 16, I believe, if I remember correctly, from the free throw line. Georgia was 29 of 38.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a huge discrepancy. And the only time that reminds me of the 1997 national title game when we played Arizona. They sent Arizona to the free throw line 33 times. And I think Kentucky was like 15 or something like that. It's been a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly without looking it up. But that was probably the second worst officiated game that I've ever seen. And they just basically give Arizona the national title by sending them to the free throw line 33 times. They gave Georgia the game the other night by sending them to the free throw line 38 times.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it for sure, was the one-sided calls. I do think, kind of like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you're in here yet, but part of it was that we don't want to be the aggressor, right? We are kind of afraid of contact, and we were afraid of taking the ball to the basket to where we would get the whistle. I feel like we were kind of shying away from contact a lot. So that was part of it, the discrepancy, because when you look at the overall fouls, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but when you look at the overall fouls, actually wasn't that different. The free throws make it look pretty egregious, but I think part of the free throw discrepancy, Josh, was that we weren't as physical as we probably should have been.
But I agree with that. But still, I mean, we are a little soft inside. We need to get a little bit stronger inside. And Tor needs to be more assertive, and so does Williams and Jackson Robinson. I mean, that kid was amazing at BYU, and since he's been at UK, he's had a couple of games that's okay, but he's been MIA, and I don't know. I've asked Brad this on his show if it's personal reasons, he's battling something privately we don't know about, and Coach Pope's keeping it quiet, or he just is not as good as what we thought he was.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clearly a mental thing right now. I think it's one of the reasons that kid came back. Was he wanted to improve his draft stock, right? He was going to go to the NBA, but he wanted to come back and try to improve his draft stock. And it's obviously it's not trending upward right now. And I think that's
probably, if anything, he's hurting himself right now by being less assertive. If he wants to be a first rounder, he's going to have to really get on it for the remainder of this year, because if I was a GM of a team in the NBA, I wouldn't take that kid in the third round right now. I'm sorry to say that. I like Jackson Robinson, but I wouldn't spend a first round pick on him with him playing the way he is.
Yeah, no, I know, but I really do think, I mean, he has the ability, but he has to get over that mental hurdle. It's kind of like Justin Edwards when he was here. I mean, that was totally a mental thing, because that dude's a freak athlete, but when the ball hit the side of the backboard in that game last year, it was just totally a mental thing for him. So, and I think he'll get over it. When you look at his numbers from BYU last year, actually he got better as the season went. He went on a streak of games where he played really, really well in the second half of the year at BYU last year. So you got to hope that maybe he sees a similar sort of thing at Kentucky this year. And the other thing is maybe he needs to come off the bench. He's Big 12 sixth man of the year last year at BYU, and that might just be something that Pope has to sit down with him and say, hey, are you more comfortable in this role coming off the bench? And to where you don't feel like you have to start the game hot, but you can come in and provide a spark. Maybe that would be something that would kind of help him get over that mental hurdle.
And probably very true. And put him on the bench and say, hey, you want it, you got to earn it. Yeah. You want to play what's on the front of your jersey, not on the back, right, Jackson? That's what I would say to the kid. You want to play for the University of Kentucky. You want to wear the blue and white. You want to support the big blue nation. Well, I'm putting you on the bench. You're going to have to get back in there and earn your spot. That's what Coach needs to do. But I mean, he'll figure it out. And this is one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to let you go.
Yep.
Just think where we would be if we had Calipari still.
Not good.
I'm not bashing Calipari, but we would not be where we're at. What do we got? 3 losses? 3 losses for the year?
We do have 3 losses for the year, and I do think that we are still overperforming what we
I agree with
probably
you.
thought that we would this year. And especially with the conference being so as deep as it is this year, you kind of got to look at it more on the macro level and the micro level. You kind of got to take it game to game a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, you can't get too caught up in a loss. Like you kind of just have to, just write it off, like on to the next one.
I wish there was more people with our fan base on here, because this is what I'm asking. I'm going to ask for our fan base to do. Be more patient. He had to rebuild this team completely. So for what he did and where we're at right now, with only 3 losses and beating Duke and Gonzaga and Florida, yeah, we've got some ugly little losses, I guess you want to call them ugly. But at the end of the day, we are in a lot better shape now with new freshness, with new blood, with new drive from the coach and the players. They want to win. Yeah. So I'm asking the Big Blue Nation just to be patient. Give Pope and these kids some grace. Give them some grace. Show them love instead of getting on Facebook and saying, "Oh my God, we're playing like crap. I can't believe it. Same old Kentucky." No, it's not the same old Kentucky. It is not the same team we've had for the last 5 years.
It's not.
We are in a lot better position now than we were last year under Calipari. And to reiterate again, where is Arkansas in SEC play? They're 0-3, and they're horrible. Both probably Big Z, which ain't doing nothing, and
Wagner.
No, not Wagner.
Big Z.
No, Big Z and
Fierro.
That's it.
Oh,
Fierro.
Okay. Yeah.
They probably wish they would have stayed at Kentucky, especially Fierro. Can you imagine if Fierro would have stayed at UK? How well he would have been doing this year. How much he would have been thriving.
Oh yeah.
He would have thrived under Coach Pope, and so would Big Z, because he would have taught Big Z how to be a proper big man, down low post.
Yeah.
And where's Big Z now? Sitting on the bench. As far as I know, I don't really keep up with Arkansas basketball. I only bleed blue and white, so I don't get into their colors. So,
he's their best player. Yeah, Fierro's Arkansas's best player right now. Yeah.
I feel bad for Calipari, but I'm with Caden. He should have just said, "You know what? It's time for me to go home. I'm just going to stay here in Lexington until, God calls me home." Yep. Because there was no reason for him to go to another college, especially Arkansas. I mean, it's like, in a way, like a Ricky P move, kind of, because by him going to, Louisville. But, I mean, it was not as bad, but still it's in the same conference. I mean, if he would have went to, like, Michigan, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. All I'm asking from our fan base is some grace and patience with these guys. And at the end of the year, if we are hanging number 9, that's going to be such a special unit, because these guys care. These guys care about winning. And Coach Pope wants championships. He doesn't care about going and getting players ready to go to the NBA. He has an assignment. He knows his assignment. And it's his first year. It's not like Pope's been here for 5 years and he's having these results. This is his first season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get off the phone. I appreciate you let me talk and call you guys, because I haven't called in a while. But just please, guys, give these guys some grace and show some kindness instead of getting on Facebook and trashing them, because they look at some of this stuff and it's discouraging. That's all I'm going to say.
No, absolutely. No, thanks, Josh. As always, go Cats.
Yeah. Go Big Blue.
Yeah, Jackson Robinson, Caden, I feel like, he has underperformed, but I think it is just a mental hurdle. I think it only is, it's just a matter of time before he gets on track for sure.
Yeah, I like what you said about the 6-man thing. That could be a good option.
I like Jackson Robinson, Kate. I don't have a problem with Jackson Robinson. I like Jackson Robinson. I went up to him. I said,
You see the potential, like you see the flashes he's got of
you do.
being really good.
I went up to him. I said, welcome to Kentucky. I'm glad you're here. He said, thank you. So, I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with him. But, okay. Anybody else that wants to call in, 502-234-1504, give us a shout. But, before that, or while we're waiting on that, and while we're closing out the show, the most obscure team each SEC basketball team has played. Vanderbilt in 1930 played the Hubbard Hardware Store. I didn't know the Hubbard Hardware. I don't know where that is, and I didn't know they had a basketball team, but apparently that's who Vanderbilt played in 1930.
I bet they'd be physical.
They probably would be physical, yeah.
Some of those construction workers are like jacked.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah. I mean, they really are. Yeah. Jewish Progress Club is who South Carolina played in 1928.
They are probably not jacked.
They're probably not as jacked, I wouldn't think, as the Hubbard Hardware Store, but South Carolina played the Jewish Progress Club in 1928. APO says, was Hubbard Hardware ranked? I don't know. I don't have the KenPom rankings from 1930, but I would imagine
they were probably not. Like one of 10 total teams or something.
Yeah, probably not. Oklahoma played in 1911. Played Friends. I don't know if that's like their like Friends or like the TV show. I guess if it's 1911,
it's a little bit before its time.
Yeah, probably wasn't the TV show, but yeah, Friends is who Oklahoma played in 1911. Auburn in 1910 played Birmingham High School. Little bit more normal than a hardware store or a Jewish Progress Club, I think. So I mean, it's a high school team, but that's a little less weird. Here's now we get to Kentucky.
That'll hurt your strength of schedule, putting high school teams on there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That doesn't help your strength of schedule come March.
That doesn't help your tournament resume. No,
it would be fun to see what we do to Massville North Hopkins, though.
It would be. Last year, I don't know if we would have beaten them. Or the Devin Askew year, I don't know if I wouldn't go that far. I don't know if we would have beaten them. In 1948, Caden, the year of our very first national championship, Kentucky played Egypt in basketball. So we played.
Did that count
Egypt
against their record?
I have no idea but apparently we did. I have to look this up now and see maybe I can find some stats on this. Maybe Corey Price would know, but
I thought you were going to say Mega B-Max.
We did not play Mega B-Max, and I don't know if Mega B-Max has a history going back to 1948 necessarily.
I don't know, but those are the pinkest jerseys I've ever seen in my life.
Like bubblegum, yeah. Yeah, we played Egypt. Who do you think Sarah Fahmy would root for in a Kentucky versus Egypt matchup? Do you think she would root for?
Probably neither. She'd probably be a fan of the British teams, though.
She probably would. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's like the Sarah Fahmy tournament invitational there. Kentucky.
Yeah, this girl's an Egypt. She looks like an Egyptian and she sounds British. She lived in both places.
Isn't she from Egypt?
I think she was born in Egypt.
Wasn't she born?
She got Egyptian parents. Yeah. They moved.
You're going to tell brother Bobby and Sarah that we talked about both of them in our podcast tonight, though that they weren't on the list necessarily.
Okay, I'll send them a group text.
Texas A&M played in 1936 played the Brown Paper Company. I don't know, like brown paper bags, or did they put the paper bags over their head while they playing them?
I don't know. Is this like the Office kind of thing, paper company?
It could be Dunder Mifflin. Maybe they
Dunder
played Dunder
Mifflin.
Mifflin in 1936. Yeah, that could be it.
Oh my gosh.
Texas. Golly. Texas played Dr. Pepper in 1931. So yeah, I mean, they were a doctor.
I bet that
so
was a
I
good
guess that
team.
counts for something there. Yeah. Dr. Pepper. Yeah. I mean, do you think that all the soft drinks had a team back then? Coca-Cola, maybe.
I don't know, but Dr. Pepper would win hands down. That's what we could do a bracket of. We could do a bracket of who would have the best basketball team out of all the soft drinks.
And all the soft drink. That would be a good.
Wait, Josh says, since I can't hear Kate, and I want to know if he agrees with me about giving the team grace and being patient. Yeah, I agree, Josh. What was I bashing them? No, I don't think I was bashing them at all. I'm completely on the Pope train.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't thrilled after the Florida game just because I thought we weren't very consistent, but we went on crazy runs and beat them anyway. So at the end of the day, I just want to win. I don't really care how it happens.
There you go, Josh. There's Caden just wants to win. That's his answer.
That's my dissertation.
Arkansas played the Arkansas Oil Company in 1923. I'm surprised they didn't play Tyson Chicken.
I bet they had some money.
Yeah, I guess so. They're taking money from chicken and oil companies even back in the 20s. Ole Miss played the Memphis Coca-Cola Company.
I didn't say Memphis Grizzlies.
Not just all of Coca-Cola, like Texas played all of Dr. Pepper. They played specifically the Memphis Coca-Cola. Georgia in 1933 played the Gulf Refining Company. So they played some
Are they based in Houston?
Yeah, probably so, or Baton Rouge, maybe even. I'm surprised LSU didn't play then. Missouri played the 61st Troop Carrier in 1943.
I bet they were jacked.
Yeah, that sounds like another like hardware store kind of team to me, maybe even more. This one I think is funny for some reason. Tennessee played Mexico. Which I don't know why that's funny, but I think it is.
Didn't we play Mexico?
We played
we played Africa.
Union. we did play Africa, but we played the Soviet Union, we played Germany, we played Mega BMAX, and apparently we played Egypt as well.
Canada. So, we played Canada.
Yeah, we've played Canada before. Yeah. Bren Canada was also on the team. Alabama played the Crampton Lumber Company, another team that's probably jacked, right? LSU played Baton Rouge Magnet High School in 1909. I teach trumpet lessons there, Caden. That's very full circle to me. I don't know how their basketball team was in 1909, but
can your trumpet students there play basketball?
I have no idea. I haven't asked them. But I don't know if they might beat LSU this year. LSU is actually the one team in the SEC that's not very good. Florida played Ralph's Cleaners. I feel like there's probably better competition in Gainesville than Ralph's Cleaners. Ralph maybe been really good at basketball. I don't know. But Ralph's Cleaners probably not jacked. And then last but not least, Mississippi State did not play Mexico, but they did play the Mexico City YMCA, which some people call that Virginia. Caden, it's Virginia.
I'm
basketball.
One of those people. Yeah.
Virginia basketball. Yeah, which I don't know.
How would you describe that play style?
Not what Calipari's doing in Arkansas. Not whatever the opposite of AAU is. I would call it that. It's just basically
passing, slow,
white people trying
not very high verticals, that kind of thing.
Yeah, white people trying to play basketball. Yeah, that's what it is. So thought that'd be a nice, fun way to end the show. For
hey, sure. Josh asked for the holidays. I can go through this real quick.
Caden, you can look it up. Yeah,
it's Balloon Ascension Day, so air up your balloons. if you're into that kind of thing.
Balloon Ascension. I like it.
Healthy weight, healthy look. So that's good. We try to eat the right way, go exercise.
Yeah,
that was on our bracket, right?
Happy New Year. Yeah. But
Yeah.
which, by the way, my screen time is going awful. By the way, if anybody, it might get better now.
Yeah, you send me like a Facebook like article or something. I'm like, yeah, Coleman's still a.
Yeah. But we'll work on it. Yeah.
National Austin Day. So if your name's Austin, then congratulations.
There you go.
National Carter Day. If your name's Carter, do you know any Carters?
I don't think I know any Carters. Do we?
I know last name Carters.
Vince Carter. Was that somebody? Yeah.
He's a basketball player.
Okay.
He's that dude that jumped over that one guy he was playing for the US team. He like literally jumped over a dude and dunked the ball. You remember that?
Okay. No, I don't remember that, but that makes sense.
And then finally it's National Faith Day, which we're fans of.
Faith Day.
Practice your faith.
Okay. Yeah. That's those are all pretty
nice little holidays.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Jeremy Kimball says in 1948, Kentucky played the Phillips Oilers at Stoll Field, which is our football field, and we lost. Yeah, Jeremy, by the way, Stoll Field, it was the first football field, and the first SEC football game was played on Stoll Field. It was Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Kentucky won. And that used to be not only the football field, but it used to be the marching band practice field. So Caden and I know that field well. But now it's not there anymore because the new student center is there, which I kind of have a problem with because I feel like Stoll Field was like, first SEC football game. It has some history there, right? You got to preserve
museum
it.
Or something. We were going to practice on there, and they were doing construction around that area, and there was a time period we had to like go all the way to Nutter Fieldhouse for marching band rehearsals.
You had to go to Nutter Fieldhouse for marching band
rehearsals.
Oh, that's awful. That's literally as far away from the fine arts buildings you can get and still be on campus. That's pretty far.
Yeah, because there was like a field beside it that we practiced at, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, Shively. I had to go there.
Yeah,
I had to go to Shively on game days, but not for.
We had to practice there sometimes.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah. I mean, we practiced at the stadium sometimes, which was cool. But Shively is not worth going over there for. But well, guys, we'll give you the reminder here if you haven't already. Follow us on all the things: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and subscribe to us on all the podcast platforms. We really always trying to get our podcast numbers up. So if you're not subscribed to us, even if you don't listen on podcast, help us out and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating over there on Spotify or Apple or Amazon, whatever you want to listen to. And we appreciate you guys listening and hanging with us. And we hope you'll continue to do so for the whole calendar year. And Caden, we just got to name this episode. Then I think we're out of here.
Talking eggs.
Oh,
I know we haven't used that one.
I know we haven't used. Yeah, we definitely haven't used eggs. Yeah. So talking eggs. I like it. And it's episode number 118. Got some great guests lined up very soon, by the way, guys. Or I'm working on it at least. So we're working on a lot of things these days. But working on some guests for sure. Some big names I know y'all will know, and we'll get them on soon. So that will be exciting as well. So be on the lookout for that. But for Coleman Scott and for Caden Holmes and for Eggs. Or lack thereof here in Baton Rouge. This has been episode number 118 of Talking Kentucky, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Cats.